Hey everybody, this is Josh Valencia from Good Break Studios. Thanks for checking out another video of ours. Today we're going to be taking a look at something a little different. I just did a little tube swap in my Demeter Tube DI, and we're going to go ahead and take a gander at what I did. First, before I get started, be sure to follow us at Good Break Studio on Twitter. That's no S, Good Break Studio. Check me out personally. My name is Josh Valencia. I am at CONSAGRADO. I know it's a mouthful, but it's at CONSAGRADO. Pretty good follow. Put up some funny stuff, some music stuff, a whole bunch of stuff. So go ahead, follow me, and let's go ahead and check this out. What I did is that I basically swapped out a crappy tube for what I thought was a crappy tube at first, because the box was starting to sound a little dull. It was an older box. I picked it up from a going out of business sale that a studio was having here in town. So sad day, but I picked up this cool box, and I thought it sounded pretty good. It was a tube, DI. I got this thing in my head that tubes always sound better, but when I heard it, I was like, oh, I think my preamps sound better, and I wondered why for a long time. So it's just sat there, looked at it, kind of sad, wanted to sell it, opened it up, and realized that it had this tube in it. This one over here, not the Tungsol, but this tube over here, this unbranded, just says 12AX7A on the other side. You can't really see it from this picture, and then it has a sticker that says made in China. And I was like, well, I want to put something new in there. So I was buying tubes anyway for a couple amps, and I decided to pick up a few for the box. So I decided I decided to go with the Tungsol 12AX7. You could see the difference here. You could tell this one's a little lighter, a little cleaner. Again, it's brand new. This one has been in there, I believe, since '95. So it is an old vacuum tube, and it was pretty toasty inside. And you'll hear that it does sound quite different, actually. This is what the box looks like. Obviously, if no one has seen a Demeter Tube DI, this is actually, I believe, an older box. I've seen newer ones. They do look slightly different. That's what it looks like. Then when I cranked it open, I did tilt it on its side. It's not a 500 series box, but you have a fuse here. You have your power on and off. Whoops. You have a transformer, some other electronics, your tube. Then you have your XLR out, a ground lift, a boost over here because it does have a weakish signal, especially with the old tube. And you have your output. So what I usually do, oh, and here's your in. So what I usually do is that for a guitar, I go in through here. It comes right out to an amp. I record the amp. It also comes right out through here to my computer, so I could track a dry signal for reamping later if I get another amp, or I decide to use the oh so dreaded computer plug-in modeled amps, which are getting better. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So I do use this ground switch quite a bit, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yep, that's what the box looks like inside and out. Swap the tubes, and what we're gonna hear is I'm gonna play. Basically, I'm gonna go between the old sounds and the new sounds. So this is the sound with the bass before the tube swap. So this is the old tube sound with bass. Okay, I'm actually gonna crank the volume for you because that's barely audible. I hope that's better. Then let's go over to the new one. So you can definitely tell, part of my shitty bass playing, but you could hear that the bass, there's definitely a change in how loud the bass is. Again, it is low level since it is DI, but it's not the strongest signal in the world, regardless of whether I swap the tubes. But there's definitely a difference between the old and the new. There's also a bit more top end. It is a little brighter, which I do like. Let's go ahead and listen to it on guitar. So that's just the DI signal. Let's go ahead and look at it with the new tube. So there's definitely a change in top end, the way that the new tube reacts to the top end as compared to the old one. That one's the obvious difference. The The volume difference isn't as obvious as it was with bass. I'm not sure. Maybe this new tube reacts better to bass. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But again, a noticeable difference. This one more in terms of high end, how much it pops out. A follow up I did, because that would be the end of the test. I wanted to see how, since the signal was so low, how it reacted when I pass it through a distressor. Again, I set it to opto mode, set it to the same. I have the detector circuit. I have a mid bump and a high pass. So basically it's not compressing the mids or the low end. It's just kind of squashing that high end, so it's a little nice and tidy. And then I put the second distortion unit on the audio. And then I have it to opto settings, input at 7 and output at 7. So pretty even stuff. We're going to go ahead and listen to the old tube first. And you're going to hear some noise. Just go ahead and listen for that. This is the old tube. So definitely more noise, a little more girth. That's the sound of the bass with the old tube. Let's go ahead and jump to the new tube. So definitely you could hear there's a change in volume in terms of how loud it is. And you could also hear the top end just really opens up on the bass, which is nice. I really, really enjoyed hearing that. And it's also, let's go ahead and play the silent section here. A lot less noisy. Not quite as less noisy as I remembered it being when I tracked it, but it is less noisy nonetheless. Now we're going to move on to the electric guitar with the new tube and the old tube. So let's go ahead and listen to that. First, we're going to listen to the old tube, and I'm going to move between the two. So to the more astute ears, you really hear the top end opening up with the new tube. Everything sounding a little bit more chimey, a little bit more clear, a lot less muddy. You also hear a lot less noise, which is really nice in the newer tube. So really great benefits. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you guys check this out and play with some tubes and let me know. Again, I'm going to play you out with just these two, and see you guys next week. Bye-bye.